In the year 1821, a baby boy was born in a small village in France. The village was called Anche. It was cold, quiet, and poor. The boy's name was Louis Vuitton. Louis lived in a very small wooden house. The house was old. When it rained, water came through the roof. The floor was cold. In the winter, snow covered the village for months. There was no fire to keep the house warm. There were no soft beds or thick blankets. Life was hard. Louis's father was named Xavier. He was a carpenter. He worked with wood. He made tables, chairs, and other furniture. He worked with his hands every day. His mother's name was Caron. She was a hat maker. She made hats for the women in the village. She used needles, thread, and cloth. She worked long hours, but the money was never enough. Louis's parents were honest and hardworking, but they were poor. Louis did not have toys. He did not go to school like rich children. He had to help at home. He helped his father carry wood. He helped his mother clean the floor. His hands became rough. His clothes were old. Sometimes he went to bed hungry. But Louis was different. Even though he was poor, he had something special. He had a dream. Every day, he watched travelers pass through the village. These people wore fine clothes. They looked important. They carried big, beautiful trunks. Louis always watched them carefully. He thought to himself, where are they going? What kind of life do they have? Who made those trunks? He didn't know the answers, but he wanted to find out. He wanted more than just the village. He wanted to see the world. He wanted to become someone important. He wanted to create something beautiful with his hands. At night, Louis sat outside and looked at the stars. He held a small piece of wood from his father's workshop. He called it his dream stick. He carved little stars and lines into the wood. It helped him remember his dream. He told himself, one day, I will leave this village. One day, I will follow my dream. But life became even harder. When Louis was 10 years old, his mother became very sick. There were no hospitals in the village. There were no doctors. She got weaker every day. One morning, she closed her eyes and never opened them again. Louis stood at her grave, holding his dream stick. He didn't cry. His heart was too heavy. After that, his father changed. He became quiet and distant. He worked less. He stopped talking to Louis. He was full of sadness. Louis felt very alone. There was no one to help him. But deep inside, he made a decision. He said, I will not stay here. I will not live this life forever. I will leave. I will try. When Louis was 13 years old, he decided to go to Paris. Paris was a big, beautiful city. He had never seen it before. But he had heard about it from travelers. He believed it was a place where dreams could come true. Paris was 470 kilometers away. Louis had no money. He had no food. He had no shoes. But he had his dream, and he had his dream stick. He packed a small bag. He didn't say goodbye to anyone. Early one morning, before the sun rose, Louis left his village. He walked for many days. He walked through forests and small towns. Sometimes, kind people gave him bread. Sometimes, he worked on farms to get food. But many nights, he went to sleep hungry. He slept under trees or in barns. He used his small bag as a pillow. He kept walking, even when it rained. He kept walking, even when his feet were tired and sore. He talked to the stars at night. He asked for strength. He said, please help me. I just want a better life. After 2 years of walking, working, and surviving, Louis finally arrived in Paris. He was tired. His shoes were broken. His clothes were dirty, but he had made it. He stood on the edge of the great city, full of hope and fear. He held his dream stick tightly in his hand. And he whispered to himself, this is not the end. This is just the beginning. Paris was a big and busy city. The streets were full of people, horses, and carriages. Rich men and women wore expensive clothes and walked into shops. The air smelled like bread, coffee, and perfume. Everything was fast and loud. But for Louis, Paris was scary and hard. He had no home, he had no food, he had no family. He was just a tired boy with a small bag and a dream stick in his pocket. That first night, he found an old wooden cart near a bakery. He climbed inside and used his bag as a pillow. He was cold and hungry, but too tired to care. He closed his eyes and tried to sleep. The next morning, the smell of fresh bread woke him up. Rich people walked by, buying croissants and hot drinks. Louis had nothing. His stomach hurt. He stood up and started walking. He went from shop to shop asking for work. "Do you need help?" he asked. "Can I clean or carry things?" But people said no. They looked at his old clothes and said, "You are too young. You have no experience. We can't help you." Louis felt sad, but he did not give up. He remembered his dream. He told himself, "Keep going. Someone will say yes." One evening, he saw a man trying to carry a big wooden trunk into a shop. The man looked tired. The trunk was heavy. Louis ran over and helped him. Together they lifted the trunk and brought it inside. The shop was beautiful. Louis looked around with wide eyes. There were trunks everywhere, big trunks, small trunks, trunks with shiny locks and soft leather. He had never seen anything like it. The man inside the shop looked at Louis and said, "You are strong for a small boy. What is your name?" "My name is Louis Vuitton," he said. "Why did you help me?" "I want to work," said Louis. "I am not afraid to work hard." The man's name was Monsieur Marechal. He owned the trunk shop. He looked at Louis for a moment and then said, "Do you know how to make trunks?" "No," said Louis, "but I want to learn." "I will do anything." Marechal smiled a little. "You can start tomorrow, but no pay. You clean the floors, you watch the workers. If you work hard, maybe I will teach you." Louis said thank you many times. He was happy. He had a chance. The next morning, Louis came to the shop early. He swept the floors. He cleaned the tables. He brought tools to the workers. He watched them cut wood, sew leather, and build trunks. Every day, he learned something new. He never complained. He listened carefully. He stayed quiet and worked hard. At night, when the workers went home, Louis stayed. He picked up small pieces of wood. He tried to cut them, shape them, and stitch them like the others. His hands were not strong yet, but he kept trying. He made mistakes, but he learned from them. After a few weeks, something special happened. Marechal saw a small wooden panel on the table. It was neat and smooth. He asked, "Who made this?" Louis stood up. "I did," he said quietly. Marechal looked at him and nodded. "From now on, you stay after work. I will teach you." Louis smiled. His dream was growing. He started learning more. He learned how to choose the best wood. He learned how to sew straight lines. He learned how to make trunks that were strong and beautiful. He also started drawing pictures in a notebook. He had new ideas: light trunks, flat tops, waterproof covers. He wrote something at the bottom of every page. "I build my future with my hands." Every day he worked. Every night he practiced. He kept his dream stick close to remind himself, "You are not just a poor boy, you are a builder." Louis was no longer just a helper. He was becoming a craftsman. He was becoming someone. And this was only the beginning. Louis worked in the trunk shop for many years. He was no longer a helper. He had become a skilled craftsman. His hands were fast and careful. His eyes noticed every detail. His trunks were strong, light, and beautiful. Customers were happy. Some even said, "I want my trunk made by Louis Vuitton." People in Paris started to hear his name. He was still young, but his work was better than many older workers. He always tried new ideas. He wanted to make trunks that were easier to carry, easier to pack, and more modern. One day, a very special woman came into the shop. She was tall and elegant. Her dress was made of silk. Her earrings were diamonds. She looked around the shop, but she did not smile. Her name was Empress Eugenie. She was the wife of Napoleon III, the ruler of France. She said, "These trunks are too heavy. They are too old. I travel a lot. I want something new, something beautiful and useful." The owner of the shop, Monsieur Marechal, looked at Louis. He said, "Maybe the young man can help you." Louis stepped forward. He was nervous but brave. He said, "Your Majesty, I can design a new kind of trunk for you. It will have a flat top, not a round one. It will be covered in canvas, not leather. It will be strong but light. You can stack it. You can carry it easily." The Empress looked at him. She was quiet for a moment. Then she said, "Do it. Impress me." Louis worked day and night. He used poplar wood, which was light but strong. He made the top flat, so other trunks could sit on top of it. He used gray canvas instead of leather because it was waterproof and easier to clean. He added brass lugs that were strong and shiny. He wanted every piece to be perfect. He did not sleep much. He forgot to eat. His hands were sore and full of cuts, but he kept going. He thought about his dream. He said to himself, "This is my chance. I must give everything." When the trunk was finished, it looked simple but elegant. The Empress came to see it. She touched the smooth canvas. She opened the lid. She looked at the stitching, the corners, the locks. Then she said, "This is extraordinary. From now on, you will be my personal trunk maker." Everything changed after that day. Louis was no longer just a worker. He was famous. Rich people and important travelers came to him. They wanted trunks made by Louis Vuitton. Louis decided to start his own business. He saved money and rented a small shop in Paris. He made a sign that said, "Louis Vuitton, trunk maker." He had no employees. He made every trunk by hand. He worked from early morning till late at night. But then a war started in France. People were scared. Rich families left the city. No one bought trunks anymore. Louis' shop was empty. He had no money. He was close to losing everything. But Louis did not give up. He waited. He sold tools to pay the rent. He stayed in his workshop and planned for the future. After the war ended, people wanted to travel again. They wanted stylish trunks. They remembered his name. Orders came back. Louis expanded his shop. He hired workers. He trained young people to build trunks like he did. He taught them to care about every detail. He told them, "Make it strong, make it beautiful, make it last." He also wanted to protect his name. Some people tried to copy his trunks. So Louis and his son Georges created a special symbol, the LV monogram. It stood for Louis Vuitton. It became a sign of quality and class. Before Louis died, he spoke to his son. He said, "Never sell cheap, always stand for the best. If the world changes, we must change too, but never forget who we are." Georges made the company bigger. Later, other leaders helped the brand grow around the world. Today, Louis Vuitton is one of the most famous luxury brands in history. But it all started with a poor boy, a long walk, and a strong dream. Louis' story teaches us that great things come from simple beginnings. With hard work, courage, and a dream in your heart, you can build something that lasts forever. Louis Vuitton's story is not just a story about fashion or luxury. It is a story about a boy who had nothing. He was born in a poor village. His house was cold, and his family had very little. He lost his mother when he was just a child. He had no money, no education, and no future. But he had one thing, a dream. At the age of 13, Louis walked 470 kilometers from Angers to Paris. He had no food, no shoes, and no place to sleep, but he kept walking. He worked hard. He helped people. He never gave up. In Paris, he found a job in a trunk shop. He started by cleaning the floors. Then he learned how to make trunks. He stayed late, practiced every night, and always tried his best. One day, he met the Empress of France. She gave him a chance to create something new. Louis worked day and night to design the perfect trunk, and he succeeded. After that, people from all over the country came to buy his trunks. He opened his own shop and built a name, Louis Vuitton. But life was still hard. War came. Business stopped. Many people gave up. But Louis kept going. He believed in his dream. And after the war, he built again. He trained others. He protected his brand. He passed his values to his son. Today, Louis Vuitton is one of the most famous brands in the world. The lesson from Louis' story is simple but powerful. You don't need to be rich to do something great. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to believe, work hard, and never stop learning. Your dream matters. Even when life is hard, don't give up. Walk forward, step by step. Congratulations. If you listen to or read this story, you have improved your English skills. You have practiced listening, reading, and understanding in a natural way. If you enjoyed this story, please subscribe to our channel to support us. It gives us motivation to create more great content to help you learn English. And if you would like to help us continue this free project, please consider donating. In the beginning, it's not easy for us to keep going without your support. Every small help means a lot. Thank you for learning with us.